So with the new SAT, now all digital, the PSAT has also been digitalized, computerized, put into the nice microchips. Do you think that the PSAT is still a good indicator of your SAT score?
Most definitely, most definitely. The SAT scored out of 1600, whereas the PSAT scored out of 1520s. And when you compare, when you go to the question educators question database, is that what it's called, College Board? When you go there, you can go through all the questions that are from PSATs as versus SATs, right? The level of difficulty change, the difference between the difficulty levels of the two tests are not noticeable nowadays, except the PSAT is going to have, is it going to have less questions or?
No, it's the same format.
It's the same format. Well, there used to be less for PSATs in the paper, but now I guess it's the same format. Okay, so back to whether PSAT is helpful or not, right? When a rising sophomore or when a sophomore student takes the PSATs in October, you'll get your score by December around, or if not November. That score is the key indicator of how you should be approaching your SATs in the future. So that number, how to interpret your reading, writing, how to interpret your math score. And of course, every school has different math curriculum. If you follow the Common Core standards and take the math, let's say you take Algebra 2 in sophomore year, then you will still need to take pre-calculus in junior year to fully prep for SAT math topics. Whereas if you did take the pre-calculus in sophomore year, then you're pretty much ready for the SATs. So given that you took pre-calculus in sophomore year and you take the PSATs, that score, once you receive your score, you can really look up and search around and see when you should be taking your first SATs as a sophomore or junior or even a senior. It's hard to predict when you're taking senior, but if that PSAT score is going to be very, very important understanding where you stand in the game.
Do you have any score ranges that might be helpful to direct?
It's very subjective, but for our standards, the kids who are, very high achievers,
Yeah.
I say if your PSAT score is over 1350, composite score is 1350, I would say you have a chance to get 99 percentile sometime during junior or senior year in high school. But if you're below 1300, I would say you should investigate which subjects or topics that you're lacking, because a kid could have a 750 in math and a 550 in reading writing, right? That means you really have to spend some time prepping for reading writing. Whereas if you have 650s in both subjects, then I think you'll have a good shot at taking the SATs as early as first semester of junior year.
There's also the 8th, 9th grade PSAT that middle schoolers can take.
There is the 8-9. I don't know if I would say that the 8-9 is a good indicator of SAT readiness in general.
You saw the questions, right?
I have seen the questions. I've taken a look at them. I would say that, like Ted said, the PSAT for sophomores and juniors is quite it's quite on par with the difficulty level of the digital SAT. It is still a little easier and a little simpler, but it's in the same kind of echelon. It's in the same group in terms of difficulty. I would say the 8-9 is just a little too far out, that I wouldn't hesitate to look at your PSAT 8 or 9 score and be able to predict how far or how well you can do on the actual digital SAT. And also, if you're still in the 8th grade, there's still a lot of growth that should be happening, especially, I would say, in the writing section and math as well. So if you are doing poorly on the 8-9, that isn't necessarily an indication that you can't do well on the actual digital SAT. It just means you still have a lot of room for improvement.
Right.
And this is our daily PSA. It is still beneficial to try on the PSAT and get the highest score possible, right?
Yeah, just because your school is making you take it doesn't mean you should coast it. If you can take it, it makes sense to kind of give it your all and see what you get. One, like Ted said, it's a good indicator of readiness for
A
the
free
SAT.
diagnostic.
Right, it's a free diagnostic. Well, I don't. It might not be free
It might not be
for
free,
everyone,
right.
but it's a good diagnostic. The other thing is that if you're in the States, there are some benefits to taking the PSAT and doing quite well for National Merit Scholars, National Honors. So you might have more opportunities unfold in front of you if you do well on the PSAT. So it's good to take that chance on opportunity seriously, but also don't freak out if you didn't do quite well on it.
That just to add, the NMSQT, the National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test, that's only applicable for juniors. So if you're a sophomore and you score 1520, you won't get the scholarship. You only get it once you take it in junior year, and you won't. I mean, no senior is going to take the PSATs, right? So junior year level. Junior years, when you take the PSAT, it will say it's a PSAT / NMSQT, and sophomores and freshmen, you take it as a practice test. So it won't matter. Parents ask, students ask, does this PSAT score stay? Is it going to be sent to colleges? When you take it in sophomore year, it won't be sent. But if you do take it as a junior year, it will stay on your record, and there's a chance that colleges may find out what you had. Sometimes, there's no kid who's going to get a 1200 on PSAT and then all of a sudden score 1600. That might seem very fishy, right? So junior year NMSQT is what matters, really.